In today's episode, we're looking back in time to early 19th century France and the dark and twisted case of Madame Lafarge, who was convicted of murdering her husband and his relatives. By the way, this is not to be confused with Madame Lafarge. She was the fictional character from Charles Dickens' novel A Tale of Two Cities. Madame Lafarge became notable because she was the first person to be convicted primarily on the basis of direct forensic toxicological evidence. Stay with us now as we embark on a thrilling investigation, untangling the web surrounding Madame Lafarge. The year is 1840. Napoleon's conquests have faded, and France is in a state of uncertainty. The Napoleonic Wars reshaped Europe, but has left France itself deeply scarred. The old aristocracy is struggling to regain its footing, while new social classes rise from the ashes. It's a time of uncertainty, where fortunes can be made or lost in a heartbeat. Enter Marie Capelle. Unlike the opulent socialites who might grace the boulevards of Paris, Marie hails from a family of modest means. She craves a life beyond the limitations of her current circumstances and will do anything to achieve comfort and status. This yearning becomes a driving force, shaping her decisions and propelling her towards a destiny far more dramatic than she could have ever imagined. Marie, at the age of 23, becomes aware of a certain Mr. Charles Lafarge. She learns he is heir to a supposedly grand estate. This paints for Marie a picture of wealth and prestige, a stark contrast to Marie's actual everyday reality. Marie sees to it that hers and Charles's paths cross. This encounter sets in motion a chain of events that will culminate in a scandal that will grip France and leave an indelible mark on history. The fairy tale Marie envisioned quickly evaporates as reality reveals itself. Charles is far from being Prince Charming. He presents himself as awkward and often sickly, and possesses none of the allure and romance Marie had hoped for. Yet, beneath her disappointment, a steely resolve takes root. Charles, with his supposed wealth, represents to her a golden ticket out of her current situation. Nonetheless, blinded by ambition, Marie ignores Charles's shortcomings and agrees to the marriage on August 14, 1840. Upon arriving at their new home, Marie discovered a less than ideal situation. Turns out, the house was overrun with rats, her relationship with her in-laws was strained due to a lack of trust, and Charles had amassed significant debt. Despite this, Marie, now Madame Lafarge, wastes no time asserting her control and throws herself into directing and managing the household, often to Charles's frustration. The loveless nature of the marriage becomes increasingly evident. Charles, emasculated by Marie's controlling nature, grows resentful. Their arguments escalate, and a growing sense of isolation sets in. The grand dreams Marie harbored for a life of luxury seem to recede further with each passing day. Just a few months into the marriage, Charles, who had been in good health previously, now begins to experience stomach cramps so severe they doubled him over, followed by violent vomiting that left him weak and trembling. Doctors, called in, were baffled. They prescribed various remedies, but Charles only seemed to worsen. The once robust young man became a gaunt shadow of himself. Then, tragedy struck Charles' family members. News arrived that Charles' father, who was a hardy man known for his booming laugh, had fallen ill with eerily similar symptoms. Just days later, Charles' stepmother had succumbed to the same mysterious ailment. Both deaths, so close together, sent a tremor through the close-knit village. The murmurs in the marketplace now swirled like a malevolent wind. A curse upon the Lafarge name, some muttered. Others, their voices laced with a sharper suspicion, spoke of a black widow. The name, Marie Lafarge, became linked to the deaths. Now, convalescing in the grand manner, Charles, racked by pain and fear, clung to Marie with desperation while also being suspicious of her. Her once attentive demeanor seemed strained, replaced by a cold composure that only fueled the villagers' suspicions. The house servants were similarly suspicious. Seeing Charles get sicker and then hearing about the deaths in his family with similar symptoms prompted Charles' relatives to seek help from the police. Investigators found arsenic, a poison readily available for killing household pests, in the bodies of Charles' father and stepmother. The evidence soon pointed towards Mary Lafarge's trial became a national spectacle. The French public, hungry for sensational news, devoured every detail. The idea of a beautiful, seemingly well-bred woman accused of such a monstrous crime was irresistible. Newspapers provided daily updates, transforming the trial into a media circus. Marie, however, played a strategic role. She maintained a composed demeanor, adopting the image of a grieving widow wronged by accusations. This carefully cultivated persona would undoubtedly sway public opinion and become a key element of her defense strategy. Marie Lafarge's case stands out as a landmark moment in legal history. On September 19, 1840, the jury found Marie Lafarge guilty. She was the first person in France to be convicted primarily based on direct scientific evidence obtained through toxicology, a relatively new field at the time. The investigation found poison in Charles' stomach, but a newer test, the Marsh test, invented in 1836, involved a special glass apparatus that could detect even tiny amounts of arsenic. The test mixed a sample with chemicals, and if arsenic was present, a gas would form. Heating the gas would leave a mirror-like deposit of arsenic as proof. It was controversially used to establish how the victims were poisoned, and importantly detected arsenic in Charles's food, which was directly attributable to Marie. The sentence, being life imprisonment with hard labor, was a harsh punishment, especially considering the era. This severity reflected the deep public unease with the case. Many saw Marie as a cunning manipulator who defied expectations of a proper wife. Her conviction served as a stark social commentary, a warning against perceived female deceit. However, King Louis Philippe intervened and commuted her sentence to life without hard labor. Behind bars, Marie becomes a celebrity. Capitalizing on this attention, she writes a memoir proclaiming her innocence, which was published in 1841 and became a bestseller. Throughout her imprisonment, Marie remained steadfast in her claims of innocence. She never wavered, never confessed to any wrongdoing. This unwavering stance, coupled with her high-profile trial using new technology for the time, ensured her a place in French history. When she died in 1852, her guilt, despite being proven in court, remained unaccepted by many who were swayed by opinion and her protestations.
Thank you for listening. Please join me next time when we will delve into another episode.